Video game cryptid Bobby Kotick appears in the latest drop of the Epstein files to the surprise of literally nobody, though he seems more concerned with being a financial predator than the other kind. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to be disgusted with the former video game executive all over again.
Yeah, if you're gonna hand it to those gaming executives for anything, just when you think you understand exactly how evil they are, the totality of the lack of their character, they surprise you yet again with something like this.
Charlie Intel posted an exchange from the Epstein files between sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, former Activision CEO Bobby Kotick, and futurist Pablos Holman.
Yeah, so just to cover our bases in case you're somehow lucky enough to not have heard about the Epstein files yet. The Epstein files, the whole thing, it's over 6 million pages of semi-redacted, mostly redacted images, videos, and documents detailing the wide-reaching sex crimes of Jeffrey Epstein, not to mention hundreds of his high-profile clients and associates.
It's disgusting. We all know that, and I love to see a bunch of people go to jail. Yeah, right? At some point, that would be great. But we'd love for that to have nothing to do with gaming. And yet, ex-Activision CEO Bobby Kotick's name pops up in them hundreds of times.
Yeah, one such time that's being reported on now, it's an exchange in what seems to be a message Epstein himself forwarded from Bobby Kotick to Pablos Holman, an individual that, decide for yourself here, but he might have the most punchable face I've ever seen in the history of mankind.
Normally we don't casually insult people on the show, but he's in the Epstein file, so fuck him.
Yeah.
And just look at that stupid face. Boy, oh boy.
Man, those glasses are a choice and a poor one. Anyway, in this 2013 exchange, Kotick briefly describes what seems to be behavioral conditioning that would reward kids for accomplishing learning tasks.
Oh man, Bobby Kotick, there's one thing he knows about, it's children. Kotick writes that the key to any such system would be, quote, real world rewards, and that by learning to read, a child could, quote, earn cell phone minutes, iPhone credits, virtual items, and games.
When forwarded this email, our cyber douche Holman writes that he's, quote, all for indoctrinating kids into an economy, while wryly observing that Kotick listed a virtual game item as a real world reward.
I mean, you know what? Turns out Bobby Kotick was right, sadly. Contrary to a lot of reports, Epstein himself didn't appear to have offered this idea. There's a lot of other details that are being misreported. I saw this so many times all over the internet today. So we're going to get there in a moment about how, Jeffrey Epstein invented microtransactions and shit.
Yeah, a lot of people connected a lot of dots that aren't necessarily connected, but we'll get there in a minute. There's other exchanges between Kotick and Epstein. A more direct exchange, like actual emails back and forth, involved Kotick offering Epstein his 407 helicopter to enable him taking, quote, the girls from visiting Elon Musk at SpaceX in El Segundo, California, up to Bel Air, probably for equally nefarious purposes.
I'm sure of it. While the exchange concerning child indoctrination is brief, it serves as a good example of how openly game executives discuss predatory practices.
Yeah, I've heard this anecdotally a lot from people who have been in those meetings, how icky they can be. But yeah, make no mistake, executives know exactly what they're doing and have zero reservations about using any kind of legal or maybe even illegal manipulation to guide players to spend money. I guess dark patterns are what they're called, and they're just all over these games. And that includes conditioning players from an early age to buy into and accept the value structure of digital monetized systems.
Absolutely. Similar concerns have been raised about the adjacency of games like Counter-Strike to gambling, which we've been reporting on for years now, and no one seems to care. Every time you bring it up about Valve and Counter-Strike, nobody seems to care, Lawrence.
Yeah, because people like Valve, and also people have made money off of that, and that seems to be it. I've had people say, like, I made $2 off of this, so I'm fine with the system.
Okay.
And it's pretty easy to buy people looking the other way, I guess.
Interestingly, the timing of this whole exchange correlates to Activision's embracing of microtransactions.
Yeah, and this is where it kind of leads to some weird leaps of association. Just a few months before these emails, Activision had added microtransactions to Call of Duty for the first time, to Black Ops 2 specifically.
Yeah, prior to this, Call of Duty DLC only consisted of larger map packs. So I'm sure Bobby Kotick felt like a fucking genius, because he's like, wait a minute, they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on dumb bullshit that's fake in a video game. I've done it.
Yeah, Activision was a weird holdout here. I remember even during the Guitar Hero and Rock Band days, Guitar Hero would not sell individual songs. They would only sell map packs and expansion discs. Activision, up until 2013, basically preferred the larger dollar amounts as opposed to microtransactions. I think credit card processing fees was a part of that. But yeah, starting here, they pivoted, and then Call of Duty became a microtransaction wasteland. And the rest is history. And like I said, because of the correlating timing here, it's leading to a fair amount of misreporting, as Bruce had mentioned. Some folks are suggesting that Epstein invented the idea for microtransactions himself, and this is where all this evil came from in the games industry. It's not really the case, unfortunately, but that would lead into a comic book tale of villainy for sure.
Look, they were villains, okay, and they still are.
Yeah, in other ways.
Yeah, in other ways. But at the same time, he didn't invent microtransactions. It's widely acknowledged. We all know this. 2006 Horse Armor Pack for the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is gaming's first microtransaction. Now, that might be, I think, gaming's first popular microtransaction. I'm sure there were others, but this was the most popular one that sort of started the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember when the Xbox 360 launched, they either had at launch or very soon added a digital marketplace for your avatar, and you could spend 80 Microsoft points on a dumbass shirt. To me, that was probably the first advent of microtransactions. But yeah, Oblivion followed soon after, and then FIFA Ultimate Team launched in 2008, and that allowed players to buy card packs and buy, sell, auction the cards that they got out of it. So there you have that golden connection of gambling plus microtransactions. You got people putting quarters into the machine, hoping for a big payday.
Man, oh man, and it's just now we're in the hell that everybody talks about, the microtransaction hell, and this is something that I think we say a lot, but I'll keep saying it. If you don't like these things, don't spend your money on it. It's really, really simple, and people keep doing it, and I'm sure everybody is shouting at me in the comments, but Bruce, it's the only choice we have. No, it's not. Video games are optional. You don't have to buy them. You don't have to buy microtransactions within them. You don't have to play them. You can read books. You could go outside. There's lots of shit you could do other than sending Bobby Kotick your, $3 for Beavis and Butthead skin.
Yeah, well, luckily it wouldn't be going to Kotick anymore, but he got his check on the way out the door a few years ago. And in addition to many other federal and state lawsuits that were levied against him and his tenure at Activision, seems like he's going to face accountability for none of it. So yeah, like you said, Bruce, it sure would be nice to see some people go to jail. And I guess I'll just keep holding my breath and turning blue until that happens. So this is just a minor side thing. I mean, first of all, I'm annoyed that there are people evil enough to associate with Epstein or be involved or even have awareness of the bullshit he was up to and still communicate with him. But somehow what annoys me even more is how fucking bad they are at writing. There's it's just rife with spelling errors, punctuation errors. I guess your time's too valuable to double check your email, but to me it's I don't know. It's a culture thing. It's a status thing. Carry yourself well, elocute well. Write an email that is parsable, that I don't have to I don't know. These people are making tens of millions of dollars a year and they can't put together a readable sentence. I guess they're just used to writing in shorthand or whatever, or they don't feel like they have to adapt to anybody. People got to figure out what I'm saying. But I don't know. God, that bothers me. Small thing to be bothered by in the grand scheme of things, but shit.
I agree, Lawrence. Every time I read some dumbass spelling error with, he sent a one-word response or whatever, I'm like, you couldn't just change the G to an F? Really?
Yeah, right?
You didn't reread it for a second, and the answer is you're right. They think that their time is too valuable. So they're like, oh, well, my time is too valuable. I'll just send a one-word response and move on. And it's so much like Elon Musk's responses on Twitter, which is concerning or, looking into it or whatever the fuck. It's like sentence fragments. And you're absolutely right. They think that their time is more valuable. Whatever. This whole thing is just makes the Epstein files. Look, if the Epstein files don't make you angry, you might have an issue because I'm sure you can explain away so many different people. But if there's one person in the Epstein files that you're like, wait a minute, you know what? That does seem like something they would do. Send him to jail. If you think that, then you should start looking at all of the people. Don't you dare exclude one or two people or everybody or whatever, and then include a few other. You got to start looking at every single person in those Epstein files, because that's the thing that I've noticed a lot of people doing on the internet is rationalizing. To me, it makes perfect sense that Bobby Kotick, we know, is a shitheel. is absolutely talking to fucking Jeffrey Epstein and Elon Musk. It makes complete and total sense. So if you're like, yeah, send the Clintons to jail, but hold on now, Donald Trump was an FBI informant. Like, let's actually go and look and see what the context of all those conversations are. Because the more that you read, the more disgusted you'll be. And it's hard for me to carry on a normal life because I will, occasionally dive into them and try and read them and sort of educate myself and see what the context is and not rush to judgment. But the more that I read, the more I'm just like, this is fucking, what is going on?
Yeah, I think when you're offering your helicopter to somebody, you're probably pretty intertwined in their business. It's to me, how can you choose to ignore what you know is going on and still associate with somebody? But that's a tough line to decide on behalf of somebody else, especially just through sentence fragments and emails, for sure. It's just all messy, man. It's all creepy. I think the thing that depresses me is that how like an open secret a lot of this stuff is. Not only the Epstein files at large, but I guess taking it back to microtransactions and game dev. I've heard a lot of gaming folks, executives at various layers, who have been a part of meetings that just make them feel bad because everyone knows what they're talking about, but they're using code words or, describing engaged players or whales or whatever. But everyone knows that they're marketing gambling to kids and taking advantage of people that they've got their hooks into. So at some point, it's in that industry, and especially if you're making that kind of money, you just have to, you got to throw your principles out the window, I think. And that's what we see as people get to a certain degree of fame or success, and you only get there because you have to kill a part of your conscience along the way.
One of my favorite stories, this is tangential to all the stuff that we're talking about. One of my favorite stories, I've told this on content before. Lawrence, you may have been in this meeting at Machinima, but one of the fucking VPs at Machinima brought in another consultant or whatever to consult on some bullshit that I'm sure that didn't help the company. Regardless, it was a Machinima meeting, and the VP said about the consultant, this guy helped me buy my third house in front of a bunch of other people who were like us, who were middle management and below. And, 3 or 4 people in the meeting laughed, and then the other 40 people were like, third house? We don't even own one. What the fuck is this guy talking about? And that's what you're talking about, which is they just say it out loud because they don't give a fuck, because there are no consequences, and there haven't been any consequences, and still, for some reason, there are none. So it makes me even angrier to think about that there are no consequences for these people. And I would just love to see, I would love to see some of these people pay some sort of penance to society or something.
Yep. Well, if you live in the U.S., the midterms are approaching, and please be on the lookout for any suspicious headlines about altering the voting process, because we might be running up on that real soon. But yeah, this is God.
Yeah, right.
I'd like to do gaming news to stay away from that shit for a while, but here we are. Damn. There's nowhere the tendrils don't reach these days.
Thank you very much for watching. We appreciate your support. And also, you can feel safe in the fact that neither Lawrence nor I are in the Epstein files. We also extra appreciate direct support through our Patreons. We appreciate you actually sending your hard-earned money this way. Some especially brave gamers keep us afloat, so we'd like to shout them out right now. Monkey Butlers, Lenny Neve, Spirit Bear, Brown Sugar, Tyler King. In exchange for your support, we promise to you, we will never find our names in the Epstein files. Right, Lawrence?
Yeah, I got it. I don't even want to know about it, much less, no way I'm in it.